and physical level when they're in pain, rather than saying, hey, you're okay, when they're not okay.
Yeah.
How to address that, how to match them. Because if someone is not okay and we are saying to them, you're okay, we're actually not acknowledging their pain and they end up feeling even more alone. Okay.
Completely invalidating.
Especially based, that's right. That's right. Rather than, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you're hurting. Where are you hurting? Sometimes it just feels like you're always going to hurt, doesn't it? And then the kid or the adult goes,
I'm doing that right now. Yeah.
that's it. And it's like being able to be with ourselves when we're in pain, being able to be with others when they're in pain, rather than abandoning them and ourselves. Because every time we're trying to push our pain away and we turn it into, it's just a muscle spasm, it's just a bone, it's just a misalignment, it's just a posture, rather than connecting it to the wholeness of everything, where it's me. This is me. This is my life. This is my choices that I'm making that are no longer working. Then we get into an empowerment place, because then we can make different choices and we can do things differently. We can connect to our sensuality and our femininity. We can connect to our breath. We can connect to the cosmos. So, an exercise I like to share with people in how to just go beyond the mind. Okay, how to just be able to connect to that space and that spaciousness where we can start receiving our soul knowing and our intuition, a place where we can go beyond our conditioning, a place where we are connected to that bright future. Okay, what we must do is first slow down. Second, focus on the energy that surrounds us rather than being so locked into our body. It's actually expanding, where we end up being almost like a perfume, where we feel the energy outside of us. So that's where our attention goes. The breath is going to be in the mouth, very spaciously, and very slowly and spaciously out the nose. Okay. And as we connect to that breath, we are going to bring that intelligence of our heart. And we're going to inhale and we're going to bring that heart energy all the way up as we're inhaling to our third eye, our wisdom. And then as we go out our nose, the energy of our third eye comes down and connects back into our heart. And rather than focusing on the energy of our heart to our third eye internally, we're going to actually expand and we're going to connect to the heart of humanity. And that heart of humanity, I'm going to inhale, is going to connect to the wisdom of humanity. And the wisdom of humanity is going to bow back to the love. And when we do that, it allows us to feel our expansion. And it allows us to go beyond our rational mind. And it allows us to connect to our soul knowing and to beyond our problems beyond our daily lives to somewhere that's beautiful and sacred and untouched, no matter what might be going on for us. Try that at home. Just even try this, the spacious breath of in the mouth and out the nose, and allowing the head to come backwards and to come back to a neutral. I would be so curious as to what you experienced when you allowed yourself to do this exercise. This is where all possibilities exist, and this is where we have to go when we want to manifest. This is the place where we can really manifest from. And this is the place I go to before I pray. I hope that's helpful.
That felt wonderful. I mean, I was doing it. I just stepped aside and I was doing it. And the thing that I love that you said too was that this is the place where you can manifest from, where, or if you're going to pray, right? This is the sacred space, and you can get your body there through breath work. And it's just, it feels amazing. Like I was going through it with you, off to the side. And right now, I can tell you that I feel very calm, very at peace, and very powerful at the same time.
Yeah, because that's when we are living and accessing our neurology and life and perspectives from an eagle-eye view. A lot of times we might also be in pain because if we are a futurist, we are meant to be expanded to the future already. Okay? And if we spend so much time in the past, if we spend too much time being scrunched into our body and we're not including our body in the expansion and connection to the greater life, that can be painful. Because pain can happen when we're not living life in our nature also. So this helps us connect to beyond ourselves, and it helps us connect to the bright future that has already happened, that we can just step into. Beyond our conditioning, beyond our traumas, beyond our limitations.
Felt like a channeled message. That was awesome. I feel so good after that experience and just listening to you talk, right? And you know what? Rob has a question for you. So, hi, Rob. Thanks for asking your question. Oh, if you're
Rob,
listening on the podcast, it says, how does that work in practice for emotional pain? Because you can listen to this in podcast form too.
for emotional pain, what we do is we gotta make the facial expressions. Okay. So when we are experiencing emotional pain, we really need to allow our facial muscles to show that emotion. So I always say to my clients, imagine you're scuba diving and you're not able to use words. And you have to show your scuba diving partner what you're experiencing only based on your facial cues. Because our face has, and our hands have the highest square footage in the sensory homunculus of our brain. Okay. And the minute our body has a feedback loop, it can change the story. So if we're able to make the face of our emotions, if we are able to make the sound of the emotion, if we're able to touch the part of our body that we are experiencing the emotion, if we're able to have our body go through a different range of motion, and if we're able to be receptive with our hands to that emotion and make the sound of it and be with it as it is without trying to change it or have anything different, less than 90 seconds, that emotion shifts. And I always say emotions are like farts. The stink comes. If you're able to just be with that stink and stay present with that emotion without words, without verbalizing it, but just with sounds and facial expressions and touching that part of your